Hey
Hey
y'all,
y'all,
it's
it's
your
your
girl,
girl,
Mariah,
Mariah,
aka
aka
the
the
real
real
Riah
Riah
Layla.
Layla.
And
And
today
today
we're
we're
basically
basically
talking
talking
about
about
TV
TV
shows,
shows,
entertainment,
entertainment,
what's
what's
on
on
TV
TV
right
right
now.
now.
So
So
we're
we're
gonna
gonna
get
get
into
into
the
the
number
number
one
one
show
show
on
on
Netflix
Netflix
right
right
now. And
now.
what
And
is
what is
that?
that?
Beauty and
Beauty and
Black.
Black.
We're
We're
talking
talking
about
about
Beauty and
Beauty and
Black
Black
today,
today,
y'all.
y'all.
For
For
those who
those
may
who may
not
not
know,
know
what
what
Beauty and
Beauty and
Black
Black
is
is
basically
basically
produced by
produced by
Tyler
Tyler
Perry,
Perry.
and
And
it's
it's
a
a
lot of
lot of
chaos.
chaos.
Let's
Let's
just
just
start
start
there.
there.
If
If
you've
you've
ever
ever
seen
seen
Power,
Power,
The
The
Shy,
Shy,
shows
shows
like
like
that
that
where
where
it's
it's
like
like
gangsters
gangsters
and
and
mobs
mobs
and
and
cutthroat
cutthroat
people trying
people
to
trying to
bite each
fight each
other's
other's
necks.
necks.
That's the
That's the
type of
type of
show that
show
we're
that
going
we're
to get
going to get
into
into
that
that
to
to
today.
today.
It's a
It's a
lot
lot
to
to
unpack
unpack
here,
here.
but
But
let's
let's
start
start
season
season
2.
2.
Season
Season
2,
2,
season
season
2,
2,
season
season
2.
2.
This
This
this is
this
my
is my
favorite
favorite
season,
season,
and I'm
and I'm
hoping there's
hoping
going
there's
to be
going to be
more
more
seasons.
seasons.
Apparently,
Apparently,
season
season
3
3
is going
is
to
going to
be
be
the
the
last
last
season.
season.
So,
So
I
I
don't know
don't know
why it's
why
the
it's the
last
last
season
season
because there
because
was
there
a
was a
lot
lot
going
going
on in
on in
season
season
2.
2.
But
But
it's going to
it's
be
going
the
to be the
last
last
and
and
final
final
season.
season.
So,
So
let's
let's
go
go
ahead
ahead
and
and
unpack
unpack
all
all
that
that
happened
happened
in
in
season
season
2.
2.
But
But
yeah,
yeah,
so
so
we
we
have
have
a
a
character
character
named
named
Kimmy,
Kimmy,
and
and
she's
she's
basically
basically
being
being
trafficked
trafficked
into
into
this
this
scene,
scene,
and
and
she
she
works
works
at a
at a
nightclub.
nightclub.
We
We
have
have
the
the
Belleries,
Belleries,
which
which
is
is
the
the
top
top
family.
family.
Like,
Like
they
they
all
all
have
have
money.
money.
They're
They're
all
all
rich.
rich.
And
And
they're
they're
all
all
very,
very,
very
very
cutthroat.
cutthroat.
They're
They're
trying to
trying to
bite
bite
at
at
each
each
other's
other's
necks,
necks,
trying
trying
to
to
get
get
to
to
the
the
top
top
of
of
the
the
company.
company.
And the
And the
company's
company's
name
name
is
is
Beauty and
Beauty and
Black,
Black,
so
so
that's
that's
why
why
the
the
show
show
is
is
called
called
Beauty
Beauty
and
and
Black.
Black.
And
And
yeah,
yeah,
they're
they're
basically
basically
trying
trying
to
to
maintain
maintain
their
their
shares
shares
of the
of the
company,
company,
and
and
they're
they're
trying
trying
to
to
rise
rise
to
to
the
the
top.
top.
So,
So,
and
and
it's
it's
basically
basically
a
a
bunch
bunch
of
of
this
this
is
is
greed.
greed.
It
It
has a
has a
lot
lot
to
to
do
do
with
with
greed,
greed,
money,
money,
power.
power.
Just
Just
like
like
the
the
show
show
Power.
Power.
If
If
you
you
ever
ever
seen
seen
Power,
Power,
you
you
know
know
how
how
that
that
works.
works.
They're
They're
all
all
doing
doing
money
money
trades.
trades,
They're
they're
all
all
trying
trying
to
to
reach
reach
the
the
top,
top,
and
and
they're
they're
all
all
basically
basically
fighting
fighting
for
for
that
that
power,
power,
that
that
position.
position.
And
And
it's
it's
very
very
chaotic.
chaotic.
There's a
There's a
lot
lot
of
of
plot
plot
twists.
twists.
There's a
There's a
lot
lot
of
of
cheating
cheating
going
going
on.
on.
There's a
There's a
lot of
lot of
schemery
schemery
going
going
on.
on.
It's
It's
one
one
of
of
those
those
shows.
shows.
And
And
I
I
honestly,
honestly,
I
I
wasn't
wasn't
going
going
to
to
watch
watch
this
this
show
show
at
at
first.
first.
I
I
thought
thought
it
it
was
was
going
going
to
to
be
be
like
like
a
a
typical
typical
Tyler
Tyler
Perry
Perry
show.
show.
And
And
y'all
y'all
know
know
how
how
that
that
goes.
goes.
Like,
Like,
and
and
honestly,
honestly,
it
it
kind of
kind of
is.
is.
It
It
kind of
kind of
meets the
meets the
stereotypes
stereotypes
of
of
a
a
typical
typical
Tyler
Tyler
Perry
Perry
show.
show.
A
A
lot of
lot of
people
people
say
say
the
the
acting
acting
is
is
terrible.
terrible.
It's
It's
like
like
a
a
Tubi.
Tubi.
I
I
thought it
thought
was
it was
gonna
going
be
to be
one of
one of
those
those
Tubi
Tubi
shows.
shows.
Y'all
Y'all
know
know
how the
how the
Tubi
Tubi
shows
shows
be
be
ghetto
ghetto
and
and
the
the
shooting.
shooting,
It
it
don't
don't
even
even
reach
reach
the
the
chest.
chest.
Like,
Like,
you
you
shoot
shoot
somebody,
somebody,
it's
it's
fake
fake
blood
blood
everywhere.
everywhere.
Like,
Like,
it's
it's
craziness.
craziness.
But
But
I
I
would
would
say
say
some
some
of
of
the
the
acting
acting
is
is
a
a
little
little
bit
bit
mid.
mid.
However,
However,
the
the
plot
plot
twist
twist
is
is
what
what
grasps
grasps
your
your
attention.
attention.
Some of
Some
the
of the
characters
characters
in
in
the
the
show
show
are
are
what
what
grasp
grasp
your
your
attention.
attention.
I
I
know
know
one
one
of
of
the
the
actors,
actors,
he's
he's
been
been
acting
acting
for a
for a
very
very
long
long
time. A
time. A
lot of
lot of
these
these
actors
actors
have
have
been
been
in
in
Tyler
Tyler
Perry
Perry
films
films
for a
for a
long
long
time.
time.
And
And
they're
they're
great
great
actors
actors
and
and
actresses.
actresses.
I
I
would
would
say
say
some
some
of
of
the
the
new
new
characters
characters
maybe
maybe
are
are
a
a
little
little
bit
bit
on
on
the
the
fence
fence
in
in
terms
terms
of
of
their
their
acting
acting
skills.
skills.
But a
But a
lot
lot
of
of
the
the
actors
actors
that
that
he
he
has
has
are
are
actually,
actually,
they
they
have
have
been
been
in
in
the
the
game
game
for
for
years.
years.
The
The
one
one
that
that
played
played
in
in
the
the
Temptations,
Temptations,
that's
that's
going
going
going to be Jules. He plays a police officer, a crooked police officer, and he basically walks around trying to boss everybody around. He's very crooked, so he's in cahoots for the drug trafficking with Horace Bellery's son Roy, and he's also working with Norman. So Norman is very cutthroat. So let's get into the season two topics here. So we have Kimmy and Mallory. So Mallory is married to Roy, and Mallory is basically the cutthroat businesswoman. Like, she handles the business aspect. She's very intelligent. She went to college, and that's why they recruited her. But Mallory was a very unlikable character season one, because she basically just started out being cruel to everybody. She's one of those boss women. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen All the Queen's Men. Eva Marcel. Eva Marcel's a great actress, but her and Eva Marcel can honestly go toe to toe. They can go toe to toe when it comes to that boss woman mentality, that boss woman role. So with season two, we have Kimmy rising to power. She meets Horace after she's been working in the club, and they make some type of deal. Now, nobody knows that Horace is in schemes. Now, Horace, he's on his deathbed, basically. And he wants to marry Kimmy so his sons and his family do not obtain his shares of the company. He hates his family, and like I said, he only hates his family because they're all cutthroat, they're all sneaky, they're all conniving, and he's basically just trying to get them from owning his company. He does not want them to own his company at all. So you would say he chose a random quote unquote stripper, but it's not random. She's not random because she's actually very intelligent. Like I said, she went to college, and yeah, this is going to be crazy. So let's get into this Kimmy versus Mallory, because we have somebody that worked in the club versus Mallory, who worked for the company for some years now. And in season two, they come together to try to reclaim their power. They come together to try to basically frame, but not even frame, because he has an issue with drugs. They try to frame Roy Belly. Now, Roy gets caught. They walk into the office. Let's talk about this scene where they walk into the office and Mallory catches Roy and the stripper named Felicia. She catches them. They're having an affair. And Roy is he's a cheater, he's a liar, he's a manipulator. And he's quote unquote somewhat good at it, but in my opinion, I don't think he's good at it. He's not. He's low key and he's weird. He's crazy. He's very crazy. So yeah, so that scene was just wow. I sat there and shot for a good minute. I was screaming at my TV when I said that. I was basically like, whoa, like, and I've been wanted Mallory and Kimmy to team up. Like, they should have been locked in from the beginning, because at first Mallory thought Kimmy was this type of like just another woman that was sleeping with her husband. But she's not. Like, she's actually there. And now she's the boss of all of them. Like, she owns parts. She mainly owns the company. And she's all of their boss. So she went from being this minuscule person that everybody took advantage of to now she's owning the company. And all these people that are cutting each other's necks, now she's cutting necks, and now she's cutting throats. And so yeah, so we can also get into this Kimmy versus the Beverly. So Kimmy versus Jules. Woo! That was a scene. That was a scene. I'm telling y'all, that was a scene. Kimmy and Jules. And I honestly, my predictions for next season for that is Kimmy is going to target Jules' family. And Jules is now seeing him go from being so confident in his masculinity and confident in knowing is he plays a role of like somebody crooked, somebody trying to own everybody. And now he's having to dumb down because he's starting to realize that he's not the main one in power. He's not the top one in power anymore. So now he's gonna have to dumb it down. And having to see that is just so like it's changing. The character development in this show, I will say, is very crazy. And speaking of character development, let's talk about Charles and Barney. Now, Charles and Barney, if you don't know, they're this couple and they have their ups and downs. They're queer, so they're together. And for my people who know how Charles and Barney have been, Charles and Barney are very much toxic. They're very toxic. And it took all the way until now for Ronnie to finally stand his ground. And I love that Ronnie is finally standing his ground. I honestly think that he should have been standing his ground with Charles, because ain't no way you're gonna walk in my house and talk to me any kind of way, and then I'm gonna walk in your house and you're gonna say, "Oh, I'm gonna go be with this person next door in the next room. Stay if you want to, go. I don't care." That's unacceptable. That's highly unacceptable. And he treated Ronnie any kind of way. Like, Charles is a funny character, I would say. He's more on the comedic side. He doesn't really like all the drama. He is himself through and through. But he came into this season. He's really getting more into what it looks like to be in that family. Now, he came in contact with some dudes. They tried to set him up, and he wound up. So yeah. So now he's dealing with that, and I honestly think that some people think that it will change him. I honestly don't think that it will change him as a person. Maybe a little bit, but seeing how his own mother betrayed him, that's what's gonna take him to the next level. And I honestly feel like Charles is also the type. He has this very much he doesn't care mentality. He doesn't care about anything. He really doesn't care because he knows how his family is. Either way, Charles feels like he's screwed. Like, he feels like he was born into this family. They're gonna try to make him do things he does not want to do. He has all this money, and now this family is gonna lose their money. So the end of season 2, the FBI comes and everybody's getting arrested, basically. But we're gonna see what happens in season 3, because I honestly don't think everybody's going to stay in jail. I think Roy is gonna stay because he has been convicted. Like, he's been using drugs. The drugs are in his system. At this point, there's no way he's gonna get those drugs out of his system. Like, you're not coming back from that. And once you take that drug test and drugs are in your system for so long, they used his hair follicle. They used his hair follicle to test him, and he can't protest that he didn't do these things. He can't protest it. So now we have these characters are stuck, and they were once in this power, and now we have people in power, and they're no longer in power, and it's just so crazy to see. And so yeah, let's talk about Norman versus Norman. Finally found out who killed his wife. And I don't know what's going to happen to Mallory, but I think next season he's going to try to retaliate against her, and it's going to mess with her whole. It's going to mess up the whole scheme that she has going on against Roy. And because he has that against her, she might need Roy in the long run, unless she divorces him. Now, there's a way to have that divorce finalized, but Roy is not going to sign those divorce papers, because he knows that if he goes down, she goes down, and he also wants her to go down. So I honestly don't think that'll go well. And yeah, but Mallory's character development, I've seen, like, Mallory is a boss. Mallory is a boss. Mallory is that character that's like, you're not gonna mess with me. You're not, because I'm gonna cut your throat too. We can go cutthroat for cutthroat. And I honestly grown to like Mallory because of that scene. I didn't like Mallory at first. I thought she was a little extreme. Uh, but I honestly, once we get into her background story of why she is the way she is, I started to like her. You know, she's very smart. She made a way for herself. She grew up with nothing, and the Bellarmines came and got her. And I honestly feel like I thought it was so cool to see how her and Kimmy connected on that level. And I honestly feel like now some people think that Mallory's going to betray Kimmy, but honestly, there's no reason to. You honestly should be on the same side, especially because you guys have something to relate on. Like Horace took both of them in, Mallory and Kimmy, and now they're both the boss women that are dominating the company. And they could honestly dominate this company together and take everybody down. I want to see that personally next season. That's what I want to see next season. I want to see Mallory team up, Rain, Kimmy. Now let's talk about Rain, because Rain is gonna have this club. We know that. Hopefully, um, we didn't get into too much details. And honestly, y'all, I don't think they're gonna fit everything in season 3. I don't, unless the episodes are 2 hours long. I really think that season 3 should be, at least, if you're gonna have it the same amount of episodes, 16 episodes, it should honestly be 2 to 3 hours worth of episodes. Just like they did for Stranger Things. I'm a Stranger Things fan too, so I know how that goes. But there's just so much to unpack in one season. I think that if we left it off, there's going to be a cliffhanger. There's going to be something missing because there's just so many key details to hit. But knowing Tyler Perry, he might bring it back for another season. So we're going to have to petition. We're going to have to petition. But yeah, also, let's talk about the characters that I feel are unnecessary. Let's get into that because there are characters that I do not want to see next season. Y'all might not agree with me, but we can get into that. So let's talk about Sylvie. Sylvie is Kimmy's little sister. Kimmy's very hard-headed. Sylvie does not listen. She doesn't listen. But this is all a part of the plot in the climax of the whole show. So I feel like without that drama, the show wouldn't be as interesting. But also, she's being unnecessary, and we could go without Sylvie next season. Sylvie is honestly, she should go to college. But honestly, I feel like they're gonna keep her to thicken the plot. Like there's certain characters that are unnecessary, but in order to thicken the plot, they keep those characters. And Rain and Sylvie are one of those, two of those. However, I could go without Angel. Now, Angel's story is a little bit played out now, and I feel like they shouldn't kill him off, but he needs to go away somewhere and not return. Especially after what I don't know if you guys seen the actor saying some concerning things online. So the actor that plays Angel in Beauty and Black, he made some controversial comments online, and it's really going to affect how people see him in the next seasons if he is included. But honestly, they might take him off the show because of the comments he made. Now, the role he plays in the show, he basically is like being pimped out, quote unquote. He gets money for he got money for dancing for Horace, and he worked at the adult nightclub as a male stripper. So he basically is having to deal with his child's mother, and that's his whole storyline. The child's mother is now trying to get money from him. She's one of those women that's like, I see you with money, now I want it too, and now I'm gonna try to set you up because I see you with money. The thing is about her is you weren't acting like this. He tried to offer her money, and she literally said no. She said, I don't want your money, take it. So he walked away. He stood his ground. He walked away. He left her alone. And now that she sees that he's living his best life, he's out here flashing the money, just acting out all types of ways. He's not really supposed to be doing this, but he's doing it anyway, because I feel like with people like him, you can't give certain things to. That's why
That's why
Horace
Horace
cancels
cancel
his
his
card. You
card. You
can't give
can't give
certain
certain
things
things
to
to
people that
people that
don't know
don't
how
know
to
how to
handle their
handle their
money.
money.
When
When
you
you
get a
get a
certain
certain
amount of
amount of
money,
money,
and
and
let's
let's
just
just
talk
talk
about
about
this.
this.
When you
When you
get
get
like
like
millions of
millions of
dollars,
dollars,
or
and
people that
people
have
that
a
have a
lot,
lot,
if
if
you're
you're
constantly
constantly
just
just
spending and
spending and
spending
spending
on
on
material
material
things
things
and
and
not
not
investing
investing
your
your
money,
money,
that
that
money is
money
going
is
to run
gonna
out.
run out.
That
That
money is
money
going
is
to
gonna
run
run
out.
out.
That's for
That's for
one.
one.
So
So
yeah,
yeah,
this
this
is
is
basically
basically
what
what
he's
he's
doing,
doing,
and
and
he's
he's
being
being
annoying.
annoying.
He's
He's
being
being
a
a
pest.
pest.
Like
Like
he's
he's
being a
being a
pest,
pest,
and
and
his
his
character
character
is
is
very
very
unnecessary, and I
unnecessary, and
feel
I
like
feel
he's
like he's
just
just
there to
there
be
to be
there.
there.
He
He
doesn't need
doesn't
to
need
be
to
in
be
the
in the
house.
house.
He's a
He's a
grown
grown
man that
man
can
that can
take care
take
of
care of
himself,
himself,
and
and
he's the
he's the
person who
person who
even
even
got
got
them in
them
this
in this
whole
whole
situation. So
situation.
I
So I
honestly feel
honestly
like
feel like
Angel
Angel
is
is
unnecessary.
unnecessary.
He
He
doesn't
doesn't
really
really
play
play
an
an
important
important
role
role
where
where
it's
it's
like
like
Angel's
Angel's
not
not
there,
there,
so
so
the
the
story
story
is
is
not going
not
to
gonna
move
move
forward.
forward.
The
The
plot is
plot
not
is
going
not
to
gonna
move
move
forward.
forward.
He's
He's
very
very
on the
on the
fence,
fence.
like.
Like
So
so
yeah,
yeah,
that
that
was
was
my
my
recap.
recap.
My
My
favorite
favorite
characters
characters
again,
again,
Kimmy and
Kimmy and
Mallory.
Mallory.
They're my
They're my
favorite
favorite
characters right
characters right
now.
now,
My
my
favorite
favorite
duo.
duo.
I
I
just
just
love
love
seeing
seeing
women
women
rise to
rise
the
to the
top
top
and
and
take
take
their
their
power
power
back
back
from the
from
men.
men.
I
I
love
love
seeing
seeing
that.
that.
Now
Now
Felicia's
Felicia's
also
also
unnecessary,
unnecessary,
but
but
she's
she's
hilarious.
hilarious.
She
She
adds that
adds that
comedy
comedy
in
in
there.
there.
Um,
Um,
I
I
think her
think her
acting
acting
is
is
also
also
mid,
mid,
but
but
she
she
she's
she's
playing her
playing her
role
role
as
as
a
a
female
female
dancer in
dancer
the
in the
club.
club.
Like
Like
that's
that's
all
all
she
she
really
really
is,
is,
and
and
her
her
acting
acting
doesn't
doesn't
need to
need to
be
be
too
too
a
a
hundred
hundred
percent
percent
because
because
it's
it's
not like
not like
she's
she's
playing a
playing a
character
character
that
that
has
has
to
to
express
express
emotions, that
emotions,
has
that
to
has
be
to
in a
be in a
business
business
role, that
role,
has
that
to
has to
talk to a
talk to
lot
a
of
lot of
people.
people.
She's
She's
basically
basically
being
being
you know
you know
what,
what,
and
and
that's how
that's how
she's
she's
acting. I
acting. I
feel
feel
like
like
the
the
actress,
actress,
if
if
she
she
had a
had a
more
more
serious
serious
role,
role,
she would
she
be
would be
able
able
to
to
execute
execute
that.
that.
She's
She's
only
only
executing
executing
the
the
role of
role
her
of her
character,
character,
and I
and I
feel
feel
like
like
the
the
acting is
acting is
just
just
fine
fine
for the
for the
character
character
that she
that she
plays.
plays.
So,
So,
yeah,
yeah,
that's my
that's my
recap,
recap,
and
and
I
I
hope
hope
you
you
guys are
guys are
ready
ready
for
for
season
season
3.
3.
I'm ready
I'm
for
ready for
season
season
3.
3.
I
I
hope
hope
that
that
it
it
doesn't
doesn't
take too
take too
long to
long to
drop.
drop.
Season 3
Season
needs
3
to be
needs to
here
be
by
here by
tomorrow,
tomorrow,
okay?
okay?
Like,
Like,
I don't
I
want
don't
to
want to
see
see
any
any
slander. I
slander.
don't
I
want
don't
to
want to
see
see
anything
anything
saying
saying
season
season
3,
3,
season
season
2,
2,
because
because
I've
I've
seen
seen
comments
comments
saying
saying
season
season
2,
2,
that needs
that
to
needs
be
to
it.
be it.
That's
That's
it.
it.
But
But
we just
we just
have a
have a
lot
lot
more
more
to
to
unpack. Like,
unpack. Like,
what's going
what's
to
going to
happen
happen
after the
after the
FBI
FBI
comes
comes
and
and
arrests
arrests
everybody?
everybody?
Are they
Are
going
they
to
going to
arrest
arrest
everybody?
everybody?
What's going
What's
to
going to
happen
happen
with
with
Jules? What's
Jules?
going
What's
to
going to
happen with
happen with
Olivia,
Olivia,
Norman?
Norman?
What's going
What's
to
going to
happen
happen
even with
even with
Horace?
Horace?
Like,
Like,
and
and
also
also
Horace has
Horace has
become a
become a
favorite
favorite
too.
too.
I
I
honestly
honestly
thought
thought
he was
he
going
was
to
going to
betray
betray
Kimmy,
Kimmy,
or he
or
was
he
going
was
to
going to
do
do
something to
something to
Angel.
Angel.
And
And
also,
also,
yeah,
yeah,
let's
let's
talk
talk
about
about
that
that
because
because
why
why
is he
is he
keeping
keeping
Angel
Angel
around?
around?
There
There
has to
has
be
to be
something
something
there.
there.
It's
It's
something in
something in
Angel that
Angel
he
that he
likes
likes
because
because
he would
he
have
would have
been
been
off
off
Angel.
Angel.
Like
Like
the
the
way
way
that
that
man
man
is,
is,
he's
he's
straight to the
straight to the
point.
point.
He's
He's
cutthroat. You
cutthroat. You
mess with
mess
him,
with him,
he's
he's
offing you.
offing you.
And
And
why is
why
he
is he
keeping
keeping
Angel
Angel
around?
around?
And
And
if
if
he is
he is
keeping
keeping
Angel
Angel
around for
around
the
for the
reason I
reason I
think he
think he
is,
is,
like,
like,
they're
they're
two
two
different
different
ages.
ages.
Forrest is
Forrest
like
is like
60
60
something
something
and
and
up.
up.
And
And
Angel is
Angel
in
is in
his
his
20s.
20s.
It's
It's
either you're
either you're
trying to
trying to
date
date
that
that
man
man
or
or
you're just
you're
gonna
just gonna
discard him.
discard
But
him.
I
But
just
I just
honestly,
honestly,
again, I feel like he's an unnecessary character. He does not need to be in the show anymore. But we're also starting to see his baby mother try to get him going and steal his money. But the money is not his to take. His card is already canceled. So it's like, Angel, we don't care if you off the show. We don't mind. To the actor, we don't mind. But yeah, y'all, I hope y'all like my recap. And I'm looking forward to Beauty in Black season 3. I hope y'all are too. And until next time, again, my name is Mariah, aka the real Riah Layla, on all my platforms. Y'all can follow me if you want to. If not, keep it cool. Peace.